Okay, students. Now we will discuss the second lesson of solutions. In the previous lesson, we discussed about solubility. What is meant by solubility? What is the definition of solubility? It is the weight of solute in grams required to convert 100 grams of a solvent into saturated solution. So I think we have already wrote the formula for the solubility. Solubility is equal to weight of solute by weight of solvent into 100. Okay? Right. So what is meant by saturated solution? What is meant by unsaturated solution? What is meant by supersaturated solution? We might have discussed all these things in the previous lesson. Okay. Next, what are the factors that influence the solubility? What are the factors that influence the solubility? So it is the nature of the solute, nature of the solvent, and temperature, and then pressure. Nature of the solute and nature of the solvent. We have already discussed in chemical bonding in the first year intermediate that polar substances dissolve in polar solvents and non-polar substances dissolve in non-polar solvents like benzene, carbon tetrachloride, etc. That means like dissolves like. Okay, like dissolves like. So the solubility depends on the nature of the solute and the nature of the solvent. Next, the solubility also depends on the temperature. For some substances, solubility increases with the temperature. For some substances, the solubility increases with the temperature. For example, take KCl, AgCl, NaCl, KCl, AgCl, etc. For some substances, the solubility has no effect on temperature. For example, NaCl. For NaCl, almost as the temperature increases, solubility remains the same. Of course, it slightly increases. For some substances, the solubility decreases with the temperature. For example, anhydrous sodium sulfate, gases, etc. Okay. When temperature increases, the dissolved gases will escape from the solution. That means the solubility decreases in case of gases in liquids type of solutions. Okay, this is about the temperature effect on solubility. Next, pressure effect on solubility. As the pressure increases, the solubility of the gas also increases. As the pressure increases, the solubility of the gas also increases. So, pressure of gas is directly proportional to pressure of gas, or solubility is directly proportional to the pressure of a gas. And partial pressure of gas is directly proportional to its mole fraction. Directly proportional to its mole fraction. We denote mole fraction as with the letter X. Okay. So the solubility and pressure of the gas or partial pressure of the gas are related as partial pressure of gas is equal to KH into X, that is mole fraction of that gas, where KH is equal to Henry's constant. KH is equal to Henry's constant. This is called Henry's law. This is called Henry's law. the solubility of a gas is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. Okay, or partial pressure of gas is equal to Kh into X, where Kh is equal to Henry's constant. Right? So if we take applications of gases in liquids or Henry's law, okay, if we take applications, if we take soda water, we send CO2 gas with a high pressure. We send a CO2 gas with a high pressure into water. Okay. So as pressure increases, solubility of CO2 also increases. Okay. Right. Next, second one. If we take scuba divers or deep sea divers, they go into the sea, and they do some research work on the seafoods, okay, and other things. When they go into or go deep to the ocean or sea, then what happens? The pressure increases. When pressure increases, the nitrogen gas which is present in air, okay, which is taken by the person in respiration process, will dissolve in blood. Okay, as the pressure increases, the nitrogen, the solubility of nitrogen in blood also increases. Okay, more nitrogen dissolves in blood. When he comes to the surface of the sea, then what happens? Again pressure decreases. When pressure decreases, again the dissolved nitrogen, okay, convert into gas and evolve in the form of bubbles. These bubbles block the capillaries, okay, and restrict the flow of blood. Okay, so due to this condition is called bends. This condition is called bends. Okay, so due to this, he feel very pain, and sometimes it may cause death also. This disease is also known as Kaizen sickness. Okay, so in order to decrease the dissolution of nitrogen, the air is mixed with the helium, around 12% helium, and around 32% of oxygen. The remaining, okay, around 56% of nitrogen mixture is taken into the cylinders, okay, through which they respirate. So as the percentage of nitrogen is less, okay, the quantity of nitrogen that dissolve in blood is also will be less. So he will be saved from the disease known as Kaizen sickness or bends. Right? That is the reason. When entering to the sea, or when the scuba diver enter into the sea, or goes to the depth of the sea, what happens? Pressure increases and more nitrogen will be dissolved. And when he come back to the surface, what happens? The dissolved nitrogen again converts into nitrogen, and it will come in the form of bubbles which block the capillaries and restrict the flow of blood. Okay, so that is called, that condition is called bends. Okay, right. In the same way, when the person goes to the altitudes, then the pressure decreases. When the pressure decreases, the dissolved oxygen in blood also decreases. When dissolved oxygen decreases, then what happens? The transportation of oxygen to different parts of the body decreases, and hence the oxidation of glucose decreases. That means he becomes weak. This is called oxoma. So these are the applications of applications of Henry's law. Okay. Next. What is vapor pressure? What is vapor pressure? So take a vessel. Take a vessel and take a volatile liquid in the vessel. What is meant by volatile liquid? A volatile liquid is one whose tendency to vaporize is more. So, if this volatile liquid is taken in a closed vessel, what happens? The particles present on the surface, okay, leave from the surface and enter into the space. These molecules cause pressure on the surface of the liquid. When this pressure, when the vapor form of liquid is in equilibrium with the liquid form, then the pressure exerted by that vapor is called vapor pressure. So, what is vapor pressure? The pressure exerted by the liquid vapor when it is in equilibrium with the liquid is called vapor pressure of the liquid. That is the vapor pressure. Right? Then, if we take Raoult's law, Raoult's law. Raoult's law states that at a given temperature, the vapor pressure of the gas is directly proportional to the mole fraction. Of that vapor. Or vapor pressure can be taken as the P gas. P gas is directly proportional to X or mole fraction. Let the pressure of the pure liquid is P dash, then partial pressure of the gas is equal to P naught gas into mole fraction. P gas into mole fraction. Okay. If we take a liquid in liquid type of solutions, say both are volatile liquids. We are taking two liquids which are volatile. Okay, and these are mixed with each other. Okay, then what happens to the total pressure? Or what will be the pressure of that mixture? Let P1 naught and P2 naught are vapor pressure of pure liquids. Let X1 is the mole fraction of first liquid and X2 is the mole fraction of the second liquid. Okay. So P1 naught and P2 naught are the pressures of pure liquids. Okay. If only one liquid is taken, only first liquid is taken, then P1 naught will be its pressure. Okay. And P2 naught is the second liquid, pressure of the pure second liquid. And X1, X2 are the mole fractions when they are mixed together. Let P1 is the partial pressure of the first liquid and P2 is the partial pressure of the second liquid when they are in the form of vapors. Okay, when they are in the form of vapors, right? So these are the vapor pressures or partial pressures. Vapor pressures or partial pressures of liquids in the mixture. In the mixture, when they are mixed with each other. Okay. Then according to Raoult's law, P1 is equal to P1 naught into x1. P1 naught into x1. Similarly, P2 is equal to P2 naught into x2. Okay. So we want to take the total pressure. P total is equal to P1 plus P2. Total pressure in the mixture is equal to P1 plus P2. But P1 is equal to P1 naught x1 plus P2 is equal to P2 naught x2. What is x1? Mole fraction of the first liquid. What is the x2? Mole fraction of the second liquid. Okay. In a mixture, the sum of the mole fractions is equal to 1. That means x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. Or this x1 can be written as P1 naught into 1 minus x2. Because x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. Therefore, x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. 1 minus x2. So, okay. So, in the place of x1, we are taking 1 minus x2 plus P2 naught into x2. P2 naught into x2, or that is equal to P1 naught plus P1 naught x2 minus P1 naught x2 plus P2 naught into x2. That is equal to P1 naught. Okay, here x2 is common, so x2 into P2 naught minus P1 naught. Okay, or this is P total. P total is equal to, we can write like this, or in place of x2 we can write 1 minus x1. 1 minus x1. So if we write 1 minus x1, then what happens? P total is equal to P1 naught x1 plus P2 naught into 1 minus x1, or that is equal to P2 naught into or P2 naught plus P1 x1 into P1 naught minus P2. P1 naught minus P2 naught. Okay. So we can write P total like this also. That means when two liquids which are volatile are mixed with each other, then total pressure can be expressed with respect to any of that liquid. That means with respect to second liquid or with respect to first liquid. Okay. So total pressure can be expressed with a reference to any of the liquid. And so this is one observation. And another observation is, so this is P total is equal to P1 naught plus x2 into P2 naught minus P1 naught. This is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, it is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. That means if we take P total on the y-axis, y, okay, mx, what is x? This mole fraction. So mole fraction of any component. Okay, here it is x1, here it is x2. So if we take a mole fraction, then it will be a linear, it will be a linear line. Say we are taking this one. Here y is equal to mx plus c. What is c? It is intercept of y-intercept. Y-intercept means here. Okay, if we take this equation, this becomes p1 naught. Y is equal to mx plus c. What is m? It is slope. So for this equation, the slope becomes p2 naught minus p1 naught. p2 naught minus p1 naught. The slope becomes p2 naught minus p1 naught. So similarly, we can relate total pressure with respect to the first liquid also. Anyhow, so the total pressure varies linearly with respect to the mole fraction of any one liquid. Okay, linearly. Y is equal to mx plus c is a linear graph. Okay, so P total changes linearly with the mole fraction of any liquid. So this is another thing. And third one, the mole fraction, the total pressure may decrease or increase with respect to mole fraction of any liquid. Right. If we take the liquid mixer, okay, two liquid mixers, let P1 naught is less than P2 naught. P1 naught is less than P2 naught. Right. Okay. So if x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 0. Say at this point x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 0. What does it mean? The number of moles of second liquid is 0. That means it is purely only one liquid. Okay, when it is only one liquid, the vapor pressure of that first liquid becomes P1 naught. This becomes P1 naught. Okay, here there is no second liquid. Right. So here say this is x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 1. So here first liquid there is no first liquid, only second liquid is present. So at this junction vapor pressure becomes P2 naught. P2 naught. Okay. Here the P1 the number of moles of x1 decreases from mole fraction of x1, or take it as a mole fraction.